So we discussed about the fan vote on Friday, and I'm very impressed with our listeners, by the way, because there was a lot of speculation, there was a lot of good comments of what they thought the fan vote was going to be and everything. And not long after we uploaded the video of our speculation and everything, maybe a couple hours after that, the original leaks of what the fan vote was going to be surfaced, and then of course a couple hours after that, the actual panel happened for Hasbro, and then we finally know now what the fan vote is. And it's honestly, I'll be honest with you, a little underwhelming. The previous fan votes felt like there was like, every single one of them was something really big. A
Right.
fan created character, a fan created combiner team, picking the big price point figure, picking the next prime, and the end results for each one of those were fairly impressive. Windblade was a very important character, and I love that character. This fan created character ended up becoming a character I really enjoy, and I love all of her toy interpretations thus far. Someone like Victorion ended up becoming this big combiner used in the comics, used in everything. I feel like I'm repeating myself from last time, but it's just from
This will be the character that gets the big push,
yeah,
basically.
and so
Whenever you vote on.
and then we ended up getting Triptychon, which enough said, big toy, big awesome toy, and the primal figure that now we just talked about just before and how great that turned out. This time around, Hasbro's asking us to decide the next two pack of an Autobot versus Decepticon. And what's weird about this is, I mean, they say that the two pack will consist of two brand new engineered molds for these characters, but it's nothing like crazy in a sense. So I'll just go through the choices. We have three choices. It's Needlenose versus Trax. Needlenose was a Decepticon double target master. Trax is G1 Trax. If you don't know at this point, shame on you. But if you don't, 1985 Corvette, voiced by Michael McConaughey in a very interesting voice like this. Uh, the last time Trax got a Generations esque kind of toy was I believe it was under the Reveal the Shield
Yep,
emblem,
if I
and
remember
it
right too.
wasn't a terrible toy. I
It was
don't
very good.
I don't
I liked it a
understand
lot.
why one needs to revisit it unless they're trying to turn him into a
Corvette.
Titan Master or something. I don't know.
Ooh, I hope if that one wins, I hope they don't just take a Bumblebee mold
Well, no,
and just
they said
and then use that.
they're gonna make brand new molds for these. They're
But I
not
mean,
just
like
gonna be
like imagine
repaints.
I understand that part, but imagine it's like, oh, we just took Cyberverse Bumblebee. That's a brand new mold,
Oh God. Well, it's
and then made him blue.
to me, it's like I don't see a reason for that one to be one of the choices. I mean, I get that maybe because that they haven't used that name in a while or something, but I don't really understand why Trax. I think there's a lot of other Autobots you could have pulled from the pool to fight Needlenose. Who Needlenose is also an obscure character. I'll get to him in a second, but I mean like there's a lot of like Needlenose is a double target master.
Mm,
There's Autobot double target masters you could have thrown into that. I
yeah,
mean, you could have Quick Mix. So, like Quick Mix was one of those double target masters that didn't really get a modern toy unless you count, like, let's say, a Cybertron toy or something. And then they kind of did something a little bit with with a few other characters here and there where it's like, oh, hey, here's this universe toy that's kind of like Quick Mix, but it's not. It's actually just a Devastator repaint homage. Quick Mix, it's again, Quick Mix never got a modern interpretation. Why not go
right.
with him? Why Trax? Trax already got a really good Generations Classics Chug,
And
whatever.
an MP,
And yeah, and
toy.
why not? If anything, if we're going with Target Masters, why not go with let's make a new Stepper, aka Ricochet. Let's
Mm,
not just repaint that Jazz that we just got. Why don't we just go a whole new mold or something? I find, again, I don't want to dwell too much on this, but I find it weird that they went with Trax. That's a weird choice. Now, Needlenose, his Decepticon guy that he's going to be fighting if they're voted together. Needlenose actually did recently get a toy. I don't want to plug anything. I actually worked on that toy. I wrote the bio for it and everything. It was a fun publication subscription toy from Combiner Wars, and that toy was a repaint of one of the Combiner Wars, you know, Superion limbs and stuff like that.
Right.
Specifically, we used Firefly in this case, and he came with the double target masters and everything. I don't think it's really necessary for him. Also, I mean, unless you really want an updated version of it, it's kind of already been done. I think that one. I hope people like. I'll just say this out loud. Don't vote for that one. That one that I feel is not necessary really. The second one, same problem. We got Wheeljack. We got a really good Wheeljack. We got a masterpiece Wheeljack that's amazing. We got a combiner limb Wheeljack. Like, Wheeljack's been done. So to get a brand new mold engineered to have another Wheeljack, I don't know. Do we really need that? Now, same thing on the opposite side of that is Spinister. Now, Spinister is a name that constantly has been coming up within Transformers IPs, and they constantly use it over and over for the primary reason because they want to keep it kicking around. But we got a Spinister Classics S kind of toy, and again, we got it a few times. Number one, we got it in Bakon. They did a Timelines one where they repainted one of the original movie toys, which was the one that turned into a Tomahawk Vortex, I think it was,
Mm.
from Dark of the Moon. And then afterwards, he got, a little MicroMaster kind of, mini conversion. He came with the Nemesis Prime Legend. But then this douchebag that's talking right now on the podcast worked on. I worked on the remake of him already,
This
which
bum.
again was with the Combiner Wars one, which we used Combiner Wars Alpha Bravo, which was a helicopter. Spinister was a helicopter. Gave him the double target master. He got the two target masters. I think he got the best classics interpretation he could have ever gotten. So does it really need to be done again? I don't know. So that's another one too. I feel it doesn't really need to happen. And then the last one, which is the one that actually I think probably should happen, but it's not even an Autobot versus a Decepticon, which doesn't even, because it's Mirage versus Impactor. Now,
Right.
Impactor was a wrecker, so maybe they're trying to act like, oh, he's going to be someone who betrays the Autobots or something, or maybe Mirage is the Decepticon because he's known for
Yeah.
being, maybe he's on one side or another. But that's a weird set. But I at least feel this one makes more sense because the last time we got a Classics Mirage was way back when Classics first started.
Yeah. But
Tracks
that
and
was such a good toy, though.
yeah, it was a great toy. I will admit that. But Tracks and Wheeljacks really were products of that modern kind of generations engineering, where Mirage really was a product of that early classics engineering, which was not so much trying to be the G1 alt mode and design, but more of an interpretation of it.
Yeah.
So the Mirage from Classics was a lot of people weren't even a fan of it. Was a lot more
Really?
skinny, a lot more lanky. His Formula One mode was more of a futuristic closed cockpit kind of thing that was almost Cybertronian, if anything. So people kind of wanted a better, classic slash generations Mirage all these years. We did get a Mirage combiner limb, like when they did the retool of the Stunticons and stuff like that
Yeah.
with drag strip, but we never really got that true new chug combiner, yeah, not combiner, classic slim. So I could see if they revisit it, it might be nice to see this character revisited with the modern engineering, considering it's the same way. How look at that old hot rod from 2006 classics, and then look at the recent one that we got from Titan's Return, and it's
Right.
apples and oranges. You know what I mean? Or even today now with the Power of the Primes one. How a good 5 years in engineering could make all the difference.
Hmm.
So that's something I'd like to see revisited. And also, I kind of like Formula One Transformers, so
Yeah.
I lean towards those for a lot of reasons because of my own personal life and things that I enjoy when it comes to racing. So I would like to see that revisited. And Impactor, now like I said, of everyone that we've just discussed thus far, he's never really gotten a good, proper toy. He's had stuff done in the club. He's had stuff done in repaints, but nothing ever really was a true interpretation of that old character with his hook hand and the accessories and him being this rough and tumble wreckers character. Him getting a brand new original mold that actually does him justice would be great. And again, Impactor, the best version of him, uses one of the best Transformer molds of all time, Rook. And Rook was this amazing mold, but even though how amazing that mold was and all the different stuff it was attached to, I mean, again, roller, tarantulas, it was used for swindle, all these different things. I still feel that when it was used for Impactor, it was probably the closest it was going to get in terms of how the character is, but I feel it still didn't do it justice. And that is one that I feel you give it a brand new mold, give him all his accessories and everything, and he'll be great. So I say, and this is my own personal opinion, that's going to be my vote, is going to be Impactor versus Mirage. The others I feel just don't really, I feel they're a waste. I feel it's been done, and I can't imagine if they do win what they will do that'll be so different and so wow,
Yeah.
like this was our fan vote character. Because I mean that Wheeljack wasn't too terrible, and I mean we got a masterpiece one that's also in that, and that masterpiece one, like it's in that deluxe range almost. It's a little bit taller than a normal deluxe, but it really gets everything done already. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm going with Mirage versus Impactor, or Impactor versus Mirage in this case. What about you?
I think I'm saying the same because I already own those other two Mirage and no, sorry, those other two.
Trax and Wheeljack?
Yeah, Tracks and
And they
Wheeljack,
do the job.
and they're awesome. They're awesome
It's not only that
toys.
Trax got a great alternator toy. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
Trax got a masterpiece toy. Like, I understand maybe they want to use the IP, but I don't know, throw it in the new Cyberverse series. Make a new movie toy or something. It doesn't need to be here. And Wheeljack, too. Doesn't need to be here.
Do you think that maybe they're putting those other two to like purposely get you to vote for the last one, the last two, the last?
I think it's more so, and the sad thing is that there's going to be a lot of fans of Wheeljack that are going to vote for him because it's Wheeljack. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
I
It
mean, like Wheeljack even came back in Prime.
Yeah. Well,
Like we had a
that's
Wheeljack in Prime.
Wheeljack being in Prime definitely helped his stock on top of that too. I think more than anything, I mean, if you would have like if you would have put, like, I love Shockwave, right? Like,
Right.
he's easily one of my favorite Decepticons of all time. If you would have put him on this list, I wouldn't have voted for him because I
Mm.
feel he has tons of great toys, and he's had tons of great toys just in recent years. So it
Right.
would feel like a waste when Impactor could get a brand new toy. So I don't know. That's just my take. I'd like to hear others people take who they would vote for and why, but that's just my take.